Hey, Wub, do the host.
No.
Do it.
I've been gone for like 8 weeks.
It's episode 150, and you're the thread. I think you need to do it.
Fine, I'll do it.
Yes.
Go. Welcome to Fourth Thread Podcast number 150. I'm your host, Wub Wave, and with me is Mr. Fusion.
What's up, gentlemen?
Long-time listener, first-time caller. But, last 200 episodes don't count. Chaos Mana.
Eyes.
Mr. Wartburg.
Good evening.
Zach.
What's up, guys?
And T-Jin Lee.
Hello.
I like how everyone always just forgets that he has a handle on the Rooster Teeth site. Everyone just calls him Zach. Zach.
Oh yeah, we just call him Zach. It is
It's not even Zap 45. It's Zach.
It's easier to say Zach than Zap 45.
Well, Zap and Zach are like the exact same, so it's like, just call him his real name.
Pretty close.
It's also what
it's
name
his
you
initials too.
It's what name you carry yourself as. Like, I carried myself as Chaos Mana. Zach has said from the beginning he was Zach.
True.
Because even the name Zap is just simply his initials.
Yeah, and 4/5 is my birth month and birthday. I'm
That's not
super
your actual
unoriginal.
last name.
What? 45? Yeah, you caught me.
His father's name is Colt.
Dad 45.
His father's is Colt. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And his uncle is 2 zigzags.
Oh god, that'd be the best. That's the best joke ever right now. Oh, god.
You love it.
I do. I really do.
So, as the host, I guess it's my job to move the conversation along. What was everybody's week like?
It was all right.
May have broken my capture card. So
I want to do this. I want to do a quick impression because I just didn't get a chance to.
Sure.
Try to figure out who I am. Who am I?
Is it me?
Who are you impersonating?
Well, who am I?
Is it me after Lozelda's
Tequila?
game night?
I was gonna say it's Zach's liver at Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you tell that story?
Yeah,
I told
it's on 149. They described the entire. That's basically what that podcast was. It was amazing.
It was like the
that.
deconstruction of his immune system during that show. You could hear it.
I like that there was so much to the story that was basically the whole podcast was supposed to be about Genghis Khan, but that story had so many different roads and different parts to it that it took the entire time.
The other guy got
really
kidnapped
funny.
by the paramedics. Jesus.
Yeah.
I like how you went home and you're like, I'm dead.
I was half awake, half asleep, half drunk, listening to the stream, and I remember we were all in the chat, and all the moderators were like, "Don't chug it, don't stop, enough." We were like, okay, we were starting to get worried for these guys. They were really hitting that point where it's like, okay, we have to think about their well-being.
That night I left early because I felt really awkward with a bunch of people I didn't know, and I was just like, I'm gonna go home. And I was like, all right, I'll see you guys. And I come back next morning, and it's like the same feeling that someone who missed a flight on 9/11 felt, where it's like, oh my god, I just averted a complete disaster.
I don't know if it's quite on that level.
That was pretty awesome.
But yeah, came back and they're like, Zach and Craig were in the hospital. I'm like, what? And they go through the whole story. I'm like, oh my god, I just went to bed.
So when you heard hospital, what was your first thought? Did you think they got into a fight or drunk or?
I don't know. They went to the hospital. I go, what? And they go, drinking. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I'm surprised.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. I blame the altitude. I really do. Because I can kill a whole bottle of vodka by myself with no problem.
I told you we don't have
Gin and vodka are two different animals, man.
Fair enough.
Gin is a beast.
All alcohol
Gin is tasty.
That
though.
was the first.
No,
Gin was the drink I got Joey drunk with the first time.
Good lord.
Kraken's good, dude.
He
I
was
love me some Kraken.
14 and drank
The
3/4 of
Kraken
a
is
bottle.
Not good. No. But can we all be in agreement though? This idea that tequila tastes good is completely wrong.
It's wrong. It's a lie.
Kraken's
It's a lie.
rum, though.
It's like the
Kraken's
kick.
rum, though. It's spice rum.
Okay, Kraken is not bad, but people that say, "Oh, I love the taste of tequila," they have fucked up taste buds.
I think I tried cracking at RTX. Like you guys had it, and they're like, "Hey, you want something?" I taste. I'm like, "Gross." I'm just like, tough.
You're like, never again.
Well, no, that's like all the experience with alcohol that I have at RTX. But it's like, "Hey, this beer is so good." When I have someone like, "Well, sure, I guess I've now tasted tasty beer," and I drink it, I'm like, "Now you can have it back."
Okay, well, let me ask you. Okay, so you said at RTX, were you drinking local brew or just whatever?
I got him a Shiner Bock.
Yeah, Shiner Bock.
Okay, look, Shiner Bock. I love Shiner Bock, but it's an acquired taste because it's very hard.
Yeah,
everyone says that about everything. Is there?
No. I am, dude. If you want to talk beers, I'm your guy. Okay. If you want something that'll get like an entry level beer that doesn't overwhelm you, drink a Hefeweizen. Okay?
It does seem like that, Love Wave. Every single beer is like, you have to force yourself to like all of these.
No, it's an acquired taste. Once you drink like 18 of them, you'll be good. Like, no.
You have that strong of a desire to finally get drunk. There you go.
I don't.
Yeah.
I like Shiner, but like I said, I when I was in college, I was a fucking alcoholic. Okay. But for me, like, okay, if you want to get into a good tasting beer, drink a Hefeweizen. There is one in Austin called Live Oak, and they're really fucking good. So next time you go RTX, buy a case of Live Oak or go to a bar that has it on tap, and trust me, you'll like it.
I'm not
Fusion, you're coming to RTX, correct?
Who?
Yeah.
You, Fusion.
Yes. I'm going to be there this year.
Yes.
The only alcohol I had that was kind of good was a White Russian, and I was like, this tastes like chocolate milk. And I was thinking, I can just go get chocolate milk if I wanted to. I don't need vodka in this.
Well, you're an adult, dude. Like,
I don't give a fuck. I'll drink chocolate milk all day.
I do whatever I want.
Chocolate milk is tasty.
I eat cookies for breakfast. Don't you tell me.
I'm eating Thin Mints right now.
I can't say how many times I've been in the supermarket and I'm like, I really want chocolate milk, but I'm an adult. I don't want to get chocolate milk. Even though as an adult, I can drink all the fucking chocolate milk that I want.
40 years old. It does not stop me. When I'm wheeling past and I see chocolate milk, I grab that motherfucker, I open it up, and I drink it. It's empty by the time I hit the register. I'm like, ring it up. I already drank it. I don't care.
People who
I found this empty bottle in the ground.
Yeah, somebody's been drinking all your chocolate milk, and this was in the cart. Here you go.
You just like there's chocolate dripping from your mouth. Like,
there's like a stain on my t-shirt.
There's a madman over there drinking all of your chocolate milk.
Yes. Hey, chocolate milk is.
Grab all the Thin Mints when you run out of the store.
Yeah. Oh man, don't start talking about Girl Scout cookies because I am not. I'm going to be probably in the minority. I do not like Girl Scout cookies.
Whoa.
That was Fusion's time on episode 150.
Good night, everybody. Good night. Another 15 weeks. I don't like Thin Mints. I don't like anything with mint. I don't like chocolate and mint.
Well, that's fine. Like, there's just people that don't like mint. But are you saying anything that's the Girl Scout cookies?
Lemon shortbreads. What are those called?
I have no idea.
The little lemon ones.
Oh yeah, the ones that are like half.
I can eat those. Those aren't bad, but some of the other ones I'm not a big fan of. Most of them I'm not a fan of. So.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like it's the type of cookie. It's not necessarily Girl Scout cookies in general. You just don't like
no. I like sugar cookies. That's the type of cookie I like. So.
I can't even eat my favorite ones anymore, and I'm very sad.
Hey, there's people who watch wrestling here, right?
There are a few, yes.
I saw some tweets about apparently a wrestling group called the League of Nations ? Made a bunch of League of Legends jokes.
There are a bunch of League of Legends jokes going on right now on the internet. Yes, because of that.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to know if that was
that's awesome.
I will now search for that.
There is a core group of people online. We call ourselves the Internet Wrestling Community. Can pretty much just make fun of it now because a lot of it is a joke, but there are some entertaining aspects we have. But my thing is, there's a lot of things taken in entertainment that have been taken from aspects that have been taken from wrestling.
Yeah,
like politics, fighting, all that stuff, all that showmanship. It was basically derived from old school wrestling. That's where it was all taken from.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
What's up?
If it came in a presidential race between Donald Trump and Vince McMahon, who would you vote for?
Who would I vote for? Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
I would also say Vince McMahon because he's insane, but I think he knows he's insane.
Yes, he doesn't know wrestling anymore. He doesn't know his product, but the man is dedicated to his country. I will give him that.
Remember when he wrestled God? That was so good.
What?
What?
Yeah, he wrestled God. Yeah. This is a guy. Okay, look, this is a guy that fired Hulk Hogan earlier this year for dropping the N-word on a videotape he had no knowledge he was being taped of 7 years ago. Okay, yet 7 years ago, around that same time, Vince McMahon dropped the N-bomb on live TV, but it was okay because it was his character that did that, not Vince. This is a guy that also has fired people for some crazy shit like they tweet, but this is a guy that also had a wrestling match with God.
Yeah.
He wrestled God because Shawn Michaels, an old school wrestler, came back and he was a devout Christian, so he was busting his chops like on live TV and decided, okay, I'll wrestle God. You can have God as your tag team partner, and I'll wrestle him. And that people were like, okay, this is kind of weird now. So yeah.
Funny.
All right then.
Vince McMahon is quite the character.
Yeah. Speaking of characters, did you hear about this? Finally, scum being removed from the earth. Well, not from the earth, but from the internet, which is my earth. Sam Pepper. Sam Pepper's quit all social media and has privated his account.
Is he the one that did all those prank videos that were not pranks and just kind of like harassing people?
Yeah, the ones where he was kissing girls and people were pissed off about that.
And then,
yeah, I could see that.
He showed zero remorse when he was called out on it too. Yeah.
That's where the joke, it was just a prank, bro, comes from, I guess.
Yeah, the meme. Yes, I believe that.
I would just rather.
What put it over the edge?
I think
recently, right? Another series.
Yeah, it was something recent. Tejan, he put out a video where he even though it was fake, the guy who was being kidnapped was a friend of a friend, and they also pretended to kill said guy's friend that they kidnapped in front of him.
Okay, so they faked the kidnapping?
Yeah, they faked a kidnapping, and they killed the person they originally kidnapped's best friend, and they did this for a prank, but they didn't really tell the guy they kidnapped. You know what I mean? Like, the person who just lost his best friend wasn't aware that he lost his best friend. And that's what really threw him out into the pit, I guess.
I think that, well, it's like, we should phrase this. He didn't actually kill someone.
No, he didn't actually kill anyone. It was all
literally. No, is it? He didn't actually do anything, but the people that were participating didn't know that it was an act. Is that what you're saying?
Like, he pranked while doing another prank.
Okay, so here's what happened. He pulled off a prank where he would kidnap his friend and his friend's best friend. Are we with me so far?
Yes, he kidnapped two people.
He kidnapped two people. He unhooded one of them, and then he shot the other. These two people that he kidnapped are best friends. Yes, he was wearing a ski mask. He was wearing a ski mask. So he built this elaborate prank where a lot of people were in on it, and it was probably staged, but the person who it was most relevant to was the person who had to watch his best friend die.
But it was just a prank.
It was just a prank, bro.
Okay, so the two people were both in on the prank.
No, I think only one of them was in on the prank.
Yeah.
Okay, the
person who died was in on the.
Okay.
The person who was Sam Pepper, which was the person who killed. Yes.
Okay.
I'm using English, and I'm taking my time explaining this.
I just want to make sure that people know if
you were just trying to get
the guy he killed, the guy he shot, like
he didn't actually. Well, it's a prank. Like I prefaced this whole entire story.
Show that it's clear because
you're right.
Like, the guy that he genocided, and you're like, wait, it doesn't make any sense. But
okay, so what was it that so this guy was like a mess? Like, is he somebody of significance or just like some random person? That Pepper knew, or was he like another YouTuber or something? Or
yeah, it was just one of Pepper's YouTube friends.
Okay, so and then everybody was like, "That's fucked up. That's a fucked up joke." Yada yada yada.
Yeah, exactly. That's what threw him over the edge. The harassment was slowly but surely taking his ass out. But this, after the series of those videos, that kind of tossed him into the well to never be seen again, kind of thing.
So basically, the guy's an asshole.
Yeah, definitely.
Good riddance.
Yeah. Although here's the thing with content, I'm okay with certain degrees of pushing the envelope because it just makes for, just original content in general. But let's be honest, the guy is a total fucking douchebag.
Yeah,
that's I mean, the entertainment world is a better place without him.
Agreed. Especially online content creation or entertainment.
And it's a culmination of stuff that he did, not just
it's not just this video. No, because Tom Green did some stupid shit, in his day. And the Jackass guys were innovative, but they pushed the envelope. It's not about pushing the envelope and we being overly sensitive. It's a combination of all that with the fact that he's just a total turd, and when he's been called the question on things, he didn't address things in a in a manner to defend himself. He basically just stuck his tongue out and said "fuck you." It's basically what he did.
And you don't do that to the internet because boy, do we get mad.
Yeah, exactly. That's why there's a strong group of people that they are Justin Bieber fans, but the majority hate him because, first off, of the fact that he is a turd of a person, and then he's shown zero remorse for the things he's done. That's why people don't like the guy.
I mean, he's changed quite a bit as of recent, though.
Also, to play devil's advocate, he's still a teenager. Like, I was a pretty fucked up teenager, too.
Yeah, he's like 20.
And if I had millions of dollars behind me, I would probably be even more fucked up.
And people get that, but it's like, okay, the best thing for you to do is to just disappear for a while and grow the fuck up. And maybe that'll happen with Sam Pepper, but he's a guy to me that he's a one-trick pony. That's just it to me. And I mean, he's this guy that just has to find ways to just irritate people, and that's his content. Irritating people, that's his content. Yeah, and, maybe he'll come back and whatever. But we're a very forgiving society, and we like to give people second chances. So, but we also are a part of a current stream of consciousness on social media where people say I'm quitting X, Y, and Z, and everyone says why. Same thing on the Rooster Teeth site. There are people that say I'm quitting, and then they come back. I'm back, and I quit again, and I'm back, and I quit again. That's just the way things are now. People just like that little attention of I'm leaving.
Yeah, that the whole spurt was like, really? Why just leave then? Like, why
better just go on and say like, hey, I'm going to take a break. I'm
taking a hiatus. Is what I said.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I still haven't really come. I occasionally pop on.
I pop on because I care about my friends who are on the Rooster Teeth site, and that's how I met everyone here in the TFT group. So no matter how much I dislike what RT did to this site, and
it's even not the site's not even bad. It's just like I gave it a metaphor a while ago that I actually liked. It was like they saved the sinking ship with this lifeboat, but then you realize that like half the people on the ship didn't make it.
The site isn't what it used to be. Let's be honest. In terms of the community activity, it's not where it was.
Nowhere near where it should be.
Yeah,
especially since Rooster Teeth's been growing as a company.
Yeah, well, the fact that I'm trying to run like a community group thing, and I want to do a meetup at the Superman Festival in Metropolis with like a bunch of the other Midwest groups. And I sent messages to like 3 people, and they're on Twitter. It's like, yeah, we saw it, but then they replied. I never got their reply. And then like I hear like Jen was like, yeah, apparently she had a really big important message and never got the message. So it was like, really? You can't even get your inbox stuff working right?
Yeah, I mean it's a
little frustrating,
mod, right? And she's a mod, right?
Well, there are no mods right now.
There's no mods or admins right
is that
now.
Still a thing? Okay,
there are. Like
you don't need to go too far into this.
Yeah, we're not going to go back into that topic because that was like 25 podcasts ago. But it was just a little.
Still,
it recently cropped up, within the last week for me. But which is why I brought it up. But
yeah, it's crazy when you get like 20 notifications and half of them are page not found. It's just
exactly.
It's just okay. You guys have had plenty of time to address those issues. At first, people were like, "Give it time," and I was one of those people that said, "Give it time." But it's so cumbersome to deal with that site now. It's just like I get on maybe once a day just to check my messages and then say a few things in the Oxford Comic Cafe and then kind of head out. So that's about it.
Wait, that thread still exists? I thought that was on level 20.
We redid 2 of it.
We made it.
Oh, they redid it.
No. Yep. Redid it.
Yeah. Oh, Priest is going to be at RTX this year. Fuck yeah. Yep.
That's cool.
I didn't realize how much time I spent on the level 20 section of the forums until I go back and it's gone. I'm like, oh, what's in my threads? And it's just like nothing.
Well, it's just funny now because if you've noticed this, that all these people that you talk to on the site, most of the community is talking through Twitter now.
Oh yeah,
or Skype.
Skype.
Is up.
Like the LBS like Skype group is fucking still nuts. 2 years
62 people. 62 people in that chat. I was recently invited.
I haven't talked in that in like over a year, but it's like, fuck, that's nuts.
Dude, it's not as active
forum
as you think.
It's still like super big compared to most of our Skype groups, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. This is the community portion of the podcast. So, there you go.
Yeah. So who here has?
Hey, we persisted as like.
Yeah, who hasn't?
Who hasn't?
We have.
We need to ridicule them.
I have not seen Deadpool.
You are a terrible human being.
Yeah,
I mean, sure, you can say that.
Yep. Zach, it's the only superhero movie that has DMX in the soundtrack. Come on.
You're right. I need to see it for that reason alone.
That can't be true. There's got to be another one out there somewhere.
If you can name another superhero movie that has DMX in the soundtrack.
Okay, you said superhero. At first you said just movie soundtrack.
No, I said superhero movie.
Okay. DMX does take a few features. I think his own movie that he featured in with like Ice Cube or whatever also had his stuff in it too.
He had a
I was a little pissed.
Yeah, there's a few movies he's in. Yeah,
is it All Dogs Go to Heaven?
Wow.
Actually, if you look at his filmography, it's pretty extensive compared to the average actor. He was in Belly, Romeo Must Die, Backstab, Exit Wounds, Cradle to the Grave, Never Die Alone, Death to the Last Hour. Man, how did this guy get all this work in film as an actor?
Because they could use his song in the trailer.
Oh, there's like 10 of them that are direct to video too. Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. Okay, all right.
All right, does Fast and Furious count as a superhero movie?
No, it almost
basically
does.
A superhero.
The last 3 have been like a guy flexes out of his cast and is like, "Daddy's got to get to work." That's pretty cliche.
If Batman is considered a superhero, I think the Fast and Furious guys.
Whoa!
No, have you seen Fast Furious 7 or whatever it was? Like,
I haven't, but
it was pretty crazy. Like Kurt Russell just like basically comes out of the shadows as like basically Batman. It's like,
it was so
what
cool.
the fuck? I mean, it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, the movies are great right now.
Yeah. Like they're
doing great numbers and they're not stopping anytime soon.
It's a complete tonal shift. Like they're gonna have Charlize Theron maybe as the female villain in the next one.
Wait, they're doing more.
Oh, they got 3 more
planned. Do a complete CGI Paul Walker from start to finish of the movie, right?
Which honestly, in 2 years, they may actually have the technology to do it.
Yeah,
you know,
didn't his brother step in? Why don't they just recast?
Like, they have a composite with the 2 brothers.
They don't even have to do that shit. Just recast.
No, I think they're actually going to bring in. They're going to bring in the kid from Tokyo Drift to kind of like fill his spot. I think.
That would actually be kind of nice. I kind of like Tokyo Drift
because I liked him.
You would be the one person to like Tokyo Drift.
No, I'm right there with you, Wubbs. I actually really enjoyed Tokyo Drift.
This theme song is so dumb. I wonder if you know how to live in Tokyo.
Is that? I've never heard that.
Fast and Furious.
So good.
It's crazy that it's at it's number 7, right? Is that where we're at now, or 8?
It's 8 is in
going on 8.
We're going on 8, and it looks like they said there's at least 4 more in the works.
Number 3 was a prequel, right? That happened before all the other ones.
No,
I'm
completely wrong.
Yeah, they are all linear.
No, they're not. 3 was a side story.
Was 3 a side story? Okay.
It was because it was the one that focused on Han. It was
what happened on the other side of the world. So
4, 5, and 6 predate 3.
Okay.
No, and then 7.
So what?
7 happened.
Okay.
When was the last time you went back and watched the first Fast and the Furious movie?
A couple weeks ago.
Years. On TV all the time.
It's such a different tonal.
Oh yeah, it's so cheesy. But it's my favorite I think of the whole series is Fast 4.
I just didn't like when they got serious.
Fast and Furious, that's what it was.
It's called Fast and Furious.
Yep, that one. I haven't heard the title in so long I forgot, but that was just like I think the best movie in the entire franchise.
Okay, so what are the series? It's called Fast and Furious, and then Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift,
and then it's
Fast and Furious,
Fast 5,
Fast 5,
Furious 6,
and then it's Fast and Furious 6.
Yep, and then it's Furious 7.
Furious 7,
okay.
And then this will be called Fast 8.
Yep. Oh, well, that's the project.
They're going to run out of titles, aren't they?
That doesn't have a title yet.
Slightly faster than normal 9.
Well, no, it'd be and 9 because they're just using combinations of Fast and Furious, so it'd be and 9.
And 9. That would be brilliant for like if the last movie is just and 9.
One of them's going to just be called just a bunch of F's.
I really hope that somewhere along the way, some people apply the lessons that they've learned from Fast and Furious to the Expendables movies, because that's a franchise that could legitimately use that and be really good.
But because there's always aging action stars.
Well, you just get usually like what my whole thing would be like. You need to have Mark Wahlberg, Vin Diesel, and The Rock as a Black Ops team.
They're kind of like the senior PGA Tour. That's what they are. They are the senior PGA Tour of action movies. That's what that is.
Yeah, but granted, there aren't a ton of really good young action actors anymore, just because it's not.
Well, hey, Matt Damon's getting older now. Ben Affleck's getting older now. So
I couldn't name a good.
You consider Ben Affleck an action star?
Yeah, dude, Thanos was the bomb.
Yeah, have you not seen Reindeer Games? Fuck you.
Dude beat all kinds of ass in that one.
Yeah.
He was fucking Daredevil.
He was Daredevil.
Oh,
hey, the director's cut of Daredevil makes it halfway not so bad.
Yeah, it's halfway
Well,
decent.
you could say the exact same thing about Green Lantern, which is not a good thing.
Oh, God.
Did you see a Facebook post of like the year of the redemption where Ben Affleck was cut in half? One side of him was Daredevil, the other side was Batman, and then Ryan Reynolds was half Green Lantern, half Deadpool.
Yes.
I thought that was very...
Chris Evans, where he's Captain America and Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm, yeah.
I mean, his year of redemption was a little while ago.
Yeah, but
Okay,
he was actually the best part of
looking on the
Fantastic Four
internet
movies was Johnny Storm. He by far.
Okay, well, no. What was his second best comic book character?
It would probably be what's his name from The Losers?
There you go.
What
All
was
right.
his name?
No, Lucas Lee from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh yes.
But that
I talking about anymore.
It's a different type. Like I'm talking heroes because they were heroes.
Yes, he was a villain in that movie, but that was probably his best role ever.
He was also. I really liked him in Push. I liked him in that movie. It was a good movie.
What was that?
Push.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Was that him?
Yeah,
I thought it was like that
was like one of his like first solo outings, wasn't it?
Christian.
No, his very first movie was
not his first movie. Like his first, like he's the lead.
Oh, lead, yeah, that was his first one.
Yeah,
because that was right after Rise of the Silver Surfer, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
Push.
Wait, was there also a movie called Jump or Jumper?
Yeah, that was with Hayden Christensen.
Yep,
that's the name I was thinking of.
And Raquel something.
Rachel Bilson.
Rachel, yep, that's who it was.
That wasn't Dakota Fanning.
Love me some Rachel Bilson, boy. Oh
Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Can we talk about Deadpool?
Can we talk about what?
Deadpool.
I mean, no.
Yes. How absolutely amazing it was.
Maybe. What you want to know?
I enjoyed the movie.
Okay, when could Deadpool teleport?
Forever.
Isn't that character supposed to be like completely different than every just breaking the fourth wall?
Yeah, there is no breaking the fourth wall.
They said one of his powers is teleportation.
No. That's a device he was given.
Okay.
So he carries a device around that enables him to teleport. He got that from Cable.
Yeah, which isn't
right.
in the movie.
His origins are you'll hear more than likely because Deadpool is raking in the dough. Hugh Jackman's probably going to do another Wolverine film after this upcoming Wolverine film, and it's going to be X-Force. I'm calling it now. That Marvel and Fox are going to do whatever they can to get an X-Force movie. X-Force is kind of like the X-Men, but they're dark. They're Black Ops.
They're Black Ops.
They have a script already too.
Yeah, they've had a script for a few years, and I think they've been debating on which version of X-Force they want to use. And I know Warburg and Tejan are big comic book guys too. So I don't know if you guys read the Yost and the Christopher and Yost version of X-Force.
I did not.
That was like
was that the one Deadpool was in?
Mid-2000s, around the time of the Messiah Complex. Great fucking run. I mean, the Craig and Yost, and I think they actually did a movie script. Was it Thor? One of them co-wrote on, I think it was Dark World, if I remember correctly. Anyway, you guys got to read that run of X-Force because it's not even a Cable X-Force. It's led by Wolverine. Warpath is in there. Wolfbane is in there. And then after that run ended, it became Uncanny X-Force, and Deadpool was in that group. And I mean, that was just a really good 4 or 5 years of X-Force. That's the movie they want to throw in, but they can't do a lead movie with Deadpool without Cable because he's very tied into his comic book, storyline.
Yeah, Cable and him go way back.
Yeah. So
my question is,
what are Cable's powers?
He's
besides being an angsty old man.
He shoots guns.
He is Jean Grey and Scott Summers' son from the future.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So he's a telepath and telekinetic.
Yep. But think like Jean Grey's powers with militant Cyclops.
I remember.
I want a Cyclops movie. I'm the only one in the world, but I want it.
No, you're not. he was utterly fucked by the X-Men movies.
By far the best X-Men ever.
90s Cyclops.
I mean,
yes.
That and Armor.
I don't know. Nightcrawler's up there.
I love Nightcrawler.
It was really cool.
He's personification of Banff.
Yes.
His comic book, he had a solo series, and it ended last year, drawn by my favorite fucking artist in the world, Todd Knock. And his comic was good, and then they killed it. They killed it. Bastards.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they do with these non-lead characters in Marvel. They let them run for a few years, and they just die. Like Rogues had several comics, and actually, my wife bought me in 1993. The very first miniseries of Deadpool came out, and it was a 4-issue miniseries, and I had all 4 issues, first run of it. And unfortunately, in college, I had to sell that along with a ton of things. Like I had the first Bishop, I had Spawn #1, I had basically a few thousands of dollars worth of comics that I had to sell off in college. But right before Deadpool came out, my wife bought me the Deadpool #1 from 1993, so I have that. It's CGC grade 9.6. So I'm very happy about that.
I think I have every issue of Ambush Bug. Does anybody know who he is?
Ambush Bug? Is that a Yu-Gi-Oh code?
It's a.
I was gonna say, is that your secret code name?
It's like the DC version of Deadpool, but he was invented before him, and he was just.
You mean Slade?
No,
that's Deathstroke.
He was a parody of Deathstroke, but Ambush Bug is just this random guy, and he can actually teleport. That's his only superpower. But he's been talking he's breaking the fourth wall since the 80s. Like he's a very fucking obscure character that appears like once every 8 years. And there's been only 8 comics for him ever.
That was kind of the thing with Deadpool. He was taken from Deathstroke and made a parody, but then they added the element of what Ambush Bug has with the teleportation.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of just went full balls to the wall with Deadpool, because I don't know if you guys ever read the original. Deadpool wasn't as evolved as a joke as he is now.
Right.
He was just a smart ass assassin.
Yeah, he was like the
tame.
I was gonna say basically all the tropes you think about, like how Liefeld writes characters.
Yeah.
But when he actually gets it right.
Yeah.
He was a writer too, not just an artist.
Yes.
Did he write like he drew?
Yeah, debatable. He was I would say a better writer than artist.
Captain America stuff.
But not
the pouches.
He was not an all-time great. He was just super prolific.
Can you imagine him just describing panels to artists drawing his comics?
Roasting this guy, and chat will have no idea who the fuck we're talking about.
Well, they should if they follow any comics at all.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh god, that was so brutal.
Just because of his sheer amount that he wrote, no matter how you gauge the quality, he's definitely, I think, one of the top 20 writers, maybe.
He's very prolific, is one way of putting it.
Yeah. I mean, he defined the 90s comics.
Oh, for sure. The 90s was his jam, with all the pockets and the muscles.
Just
all the pockets. I like that description.
It was the pockets, the giant pecs, and the guns.
Yeah, guns, giant pecs, and pockets.
That's
it. He drew 2 issues of
Teen
Titans a couple years ago, and they were literally the worst things I ever fucking seen.
He has never evolved his style, for better or worse.
He was drawing 15-year-olds like they were 35-year-old men and women.
It's funny because you look at some of those old artists that were around a lot in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, that you hated. They've evolved. They've adapted their artwork over the years, like Jim Lee and so forth. Like Joe.
I love how he draws Superman.
Liefeld has not changed a fucking thing.
Him or George Perez.
Oh, George Perez is probably the laziest motherfucker.
Hasn't fucking changed anything. Nope. He's the exact same fucking artist that he was in the fucking 80s.
Yep.
And it literally looks the exact fucking same.
It almost looks like he actually paints the inking looks like
he drew it 20 years ago, and now he's finally using it for that.
Exactly. That's exactly what it looks like.
And he only he comes out of retirement every 5 years to do a mini series, and then he disappears again.
If it involves X-Men, the Avengers versus JLA every decade, he does that. Yeah.
So to get off topic from comics briefly, have you guys seen anything about the HoloLens at all?
About the HoloLens?
Yeah, the HoloLens and how Microsoft debuted it basically, and they were talking about how it does 12 things
last year. What's the HoloLens?
The HoloLens is the augmented reality thing that they were doing.
Oh yeah, I heard about that a while ago.
I mean, there's been some more videos released for footage and stuff, so that's why I'm just trying to pick your guys' brains about it because it's new tech.
He's trying to derail our comics talk, which I'm not having.
Well, how about I bring it all full circle? Did anyone ever play the Deadpool Xbox game?
Yes.
I heard it was terrible.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Is it the one by High Noon?
Yes, by High Noon.
Terrible would be like the Young Justice video game, which was basically a PS2 title on an Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
This was, I'd say, just a mediocre action game with some interesting characterization of Deadpool.
I just heard it was action and dick joke constantly.
Yeah, the only thing is it's like a group of about 20 dick jokes. So about 5 hours
it's very
of
clearly
play,
written by
He says
like
the same
video
things
game
over and
writers,
over.
not
yeah.
comic book writers.
After at the beginning, you're like enjoying it. You're thinking, "Oh, this is funny," and everything. The fighting, his commentary during the combat, and then after about an hour or two, you're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I've heard that."
It's
too.
like
I liked him in Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Too. He was funny in that. Even though because he had like small bits where he'd like interject into the story and he was funny.
Yep.
But like
the game,
and he was also the best character to play with because he was a total cheat when he would heal and just fucking like mow people down.
Yep. Yeah, the Deadpool game was like a script of good ideas given to some video game writers who didn't really get the character. They got close, but that's a case of getting really close but still missing by a mile.
That's the thing. I'm curious, like, what is the right way to write Deadpool? Like, what is he? Like, what is like,
for the mainstream or for the comic book audience?
Let's say comic's most important. What
for the mainstream? I don't know how you do it better than the movie. Like,
seriously,
to the mass audience that they nailed. I don't know how you do it better than that.
That's what the Funhouse guys were talking about, is how well they appealed to like a very broad demographic and nailed it.
Like you can go into this movie not knowing who Deadpool is and come out of it loving it.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Like my sister, she never reads a comic book. The only thing she's ever done with comic books is watch Arrow and Flash with me. And she fucking
But they like got it. They got
she fucking loved it. She got all the X-Men jokes and because she's like watched some of the movies with me too. Fucking loved it.
By the way, the Hugh Jackman mask at the end really fucking got me. That was like my favorite joke of the movie.
Yep, it was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see it in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I'm going to Philly spring training over the weekend.
Okay, that's acceptable.
That's acceptable.
And then next weekend, it's my fiance's bachelorette weekend, so I might escape and go watch Deadpool.
So she's gonna be doing crazy stuff, and you're gonna go watch Deadpool.
I'm doing crazy stuff too, dude.
Isn't that a crazy stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty much status quo. Yeah.
One wild and crazy guy.
Yeah.
Also, Fusion, since we have you on the podcast,
I hope TJ got that reference.
You're
my
my eye into the sports world, so I'm curious about how you feel about the Ronda Rousey thing.
TJ and me too.
About the suicide thing?
What? I didn't even hear what. So all I heard was
need to. You know what? Here. You need to go listen to last week's podcast of mine. We talk about that in depth.
What's the name of that podcast, Fusion? Just out of curiosity.
It's called the Cap Casualties Podcast. Thank you for asking, Zach.
What is that?
Okay, look. Okay, this is what I last week.
Brief lowdown.
Okay, last week she went on Ellen DeGeneres and she talked about after she lost her first fight and she got her ass whipped by Holly Holm. Okay, I won't go into the full breakdown of the fight, but basically, like I said, and talking with my friend Rod, that fight was a deconstruction of a fighter. She got beat from every aspect from start to finish. And after the fight, she was in the hospital because she had her face beat in. She claimed she was knocked unconscious while standing up, and then again on the ground. So you were talking about potentially several concussions within a few minutes of each other, okay?
Which is pretty fucking dangerous.
Which is
that's brain damage.
That's brain damage. Easy.
She said that when she was in the hospital, she was contemplating killing herself because she didn't know what to do with herself. So people talked about that. They replayed that clip from Ellen. Everyone goes, "Oh, me as a big football guy and the whole issue of brain injuries." People aren't talking enough about that story, her comments, because her dad, a lot of people don't know the backstory. Her dad killed himself when she was 12 years old. So there's a history of mental illness right there in her family. And no one's really talking about that. People in her camp aren't really talking about that. The media is not really running with that. It's a story that should have more legs, what she said last week, than it hasn't. And that kind of bothers me. That bothers me.
It's kind of glossed over.
Well, like
people were like, "Oh, well, good for her that she's working her way up." It's like, no, man. There's some serious underlying psychological and potentially like neurological issues with her that people aren't talking about.
Well, and you mean you look at like what's been happening with the NFL and the concussions. People just don't want to be confronted with the fact that stuff that they love has very negative consequences.
No,
like
and I'll my take on that, Warburg, is this. It's a very violent sport, and these guys are heavily compensated for it.
Oh, I
so
understand.
if these guys want to sign waivers, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I don't like I'm not into gladiator type style thing where people were fighting to the death. That's not my. It's a form of entertainment.
That's a way. There's a way to do that sport, football, without those injuries, though.
Yeah,
like
but
you can play the sport. You change the rules differently. You play differently, and the fucking head problems go away.
Well, the problem with
that don't really though, because you look at the offensive linemen and they have CTE way more than everybody else. And they're the ones that aren't getting hit in the head.
It's about playing with your body instead of your head.
Well, and the problem with that is that during practices, these guys, old school guys, there was a lot of head contact. And I speak from experience because I dealt with, one day I'm going to talk about it in detail. I dealt with post-concussion syndrome, something I didn't really like to talk about. And when I got sick a couple years ago, there was a worry for me because before I was diagnosed with the thyroid cancer, I was worried that I was suffering from ALS. I didn't tell people this. But I was worried about that because of the fact that within a few years, I had about 7 concussions, 3 of which were diagnosed in a hospital. And back then in the late 90s, concussions were just, you got your bell rung, Yeah. And now we're finding
they fucking happen all the time in hockey. Eric Lindros got fucking like 5 concussions in like 2 seasons. And it was like, he's fine. He's just up and playing. And now he's a tough guy.
Now he's talking about shitting his pants on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I mean, we back then we really didn't know the deal with head injuries,
But the thing that gets me is like I had this conversation with my buddy, and he to kind of point back to the glossing it over is like Junior Seau took a shotgun to his chest instead of killing himself because he how to kill himself instead of going to the head because he's like someone needs to look at my brain because something's fucking wrong, and you bring that up and like, oh wait, that happened? Like, yeah, it was big news for like a month, know, and it's like that kind of shit happens a lot.
And I never want to make these things political, but it does tie in politically because when these gun stories, these shootings happen, we immediately start pulling out everything but the main thing, which is mental health. That's always the number one issue people don't want to talk about. It's like, okay, these people go and they shoot up these fucking schools, these churches, whatever events. Let's talk about the guns. Let's talk about the music. Let's talk about, the religious beliefs. We don't want to talk about mental health.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's people just like, it's personal. I don't want to get into that because it's like it's wishy-washy.
Was that what you wanted to know about, Zach? What about that with Ronda Rousey?
No, I was just curious, the whole because I saw the clip on Ellen DeGeneres and how she talked about her whole career as an athlete was her being unbeatable.
Yeah.
And she got beat, and so now it's like she has to face all these people who constantly doubted her, and this is their one moment of vindication, and it was just a very interesting she was built to be an Olympian god kind of thing.
So many fucking people are reveling in her loss and stuff like that too. It's the same thing happened with Cam Newton
and it's just like the Patriots.
People are fucking.
Eventually, you remember in Batman where Alfred tells him, no, was it Alfred that told him if you live eventually?
No, that was Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent. Eventually, you become the thing that people hate. It's very true with these people. When they win, everyone celebrates them. Then after a while, if they sustain that success, they become the enemy.
Yeah.
That's what happened with her was people loved the fact that she fucking dominated everybody, 15 seconds whipping ass, and then at some point everyone's like, no, I'm tired of it.
Honestly,
so let's
it's
all
the media constantly talking. She was play Wonder Woman or Mrs. Marvel.
An Olympian god almost.
Well, and here's the thing, Zach, is that in that whole thing, and like I said, me and Rod talk about it in very big detail on the podcast because it bothered me that people were overlooking that because her father committed suicide when she was 12, and then she immediately started getting into her Olympic training. That was her form of therapy all this time, from the Olympics to MMA fighting. I don't think she really ever addressed properly her mental health.
Yeah.
Dealing with her the loss of her dad. So then all of a sudden she's built this world around her therapy being her success, and then she fails, in front of millions of people on the grandest stage for her, and it was embarrassing the way she went down. So and fighters do have a different mentality about their success. I will say that, but to me, there's a lot more involved with her personal mental health.
Okay. That's understandable.
Yeah,
I'll definitely have to check that one out because that was something I'm very curious about because it's I always try to constantly, when it comes to sports or anybody I enjoy watching, I always try to make sure that to make them human in some way by watching an interview or something, because we often forget about how they're still human. They're not these...
Well, if you like that perspective, you should probably go to HBO and watch their 24/7 series, which is usually before a big boxing match. They show the life, like the months leading up to that. And that shit is very intriguing because you see just how very human a lot of these athletes are, you know? Hard Knocks is another one. It's an HBO series about the NFL training camps. They pick one team every year. It's another good one. You kind of see the human side. And then, eventually, like I think this week Rod and I are going to talk. I want to bring it up about esports. So I'm going to talk about that. How
I'm looking forward to that.
It's becoming more involved with sports channels, and Rod's I'm a more progressive sports person. I'm more of a realist after working in the industry for a long time. He's more of an old school sports guy, so he's probably going to have the take that people aren't going to like gamers aren't going to like. But I'm more of an open-minded person about it, and it's just something I think we need to talk about because it's becoming a very prevalent thing in sports channels.
Millions of dollars, millions.
Oh, well, I had a point about this. I almost made a journal about it on the site because I was just dicking around on Facebook. And ESPN has been really starting to promote this stuff on their channels. And my question, I think, to the OCC because I didn't know how to formulate the journal was like, in the future, obviously, someone's going to be like the outlet, where it's like, like CBS is the place to go for college basketball, like stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like, who's going to be that? Is it going to be a current like sports like organization like ESPN, things like that, or is it going to be a like something that doesn't even exist right now
for esports?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it would have to be eventually not because it's not as valid, but more because it's just so different in the actual medium that I think eventually it would be like a splinter ESPN type thing
or Twitch. I mean, who says?
Well, yeah, Twitch is a thing, but for like people that are.
Granted, they do have some big bucks behind them if Amazon wants to get off their ass and make it a viable platform for esports. Because they really could.
Here's the one thing about ESPN, and like being the older person on the podcast, I got to see ESPN in its infancy and how it evolved. The one thing I don't like a lot of their content now because it's just talking head bullshit, okay, with a lot of their stuff, and I hate it. But I give them the credit in they are always pioneers in new content. They are willing to take those risks on new content. In the 80s, they were the first ones to on a cable network other than TBS to show wrestling. They showed a lot of fucking wrestling. People forget that. And then, in the early 90s, they started showing bowling, and people were like, what? Okay. World's Strongest Man, MMA, a lot of that stuff was on ESPN when it was a younger network. And then it became, they started showing.
And then World Series of Poker.
Poker.
Like X Games and things like that.
X Games and poker, and then they started off with esports on ESPN3. They bumped it up to 2 now, which a lot of people don't know. ESPN2 is a very active network.
Oh yeah, that's on. It's if you have a basic sports package, it's on everything. Like everybody has that.
So, and like I said, it's something I want to talk about because I'm in deep in both communities, both just sports in general and then the gaming world. So it's like it's something for me. It's like, okay, I have to talk about it because I'm seeing it more and more. And my friend Rod is an older school guy. He's gonna probably be like, no, that doesn't belong there. But I am gonna attack him if he does take that stance because it's like, hey man, bowling was at one point because why should a bunch of
fucking validates on poker on ESPN has to validate gaming.
Exactly, and that's how I feel. It's like if the World Series of fucking poker has a 4-hour time slot on ESPN, don't talk to me about esports.
It's going to be at night. It's going to be out of the way of like your fucking football and your 6 hours straight of sports.
Well, football dominates everything. Yeah, everything now.
It's out of the way of that, and people are going to still get upset about it.
Football, at least here in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Esports is really big in the Asian countries.
It's basically professional fucking sports in Korea.
Oh yeah, Korea they're making 6-7 figures now.
Yeah, Taiwan, China. There's another other country.
Korea.
Korea, but I mean, I'm thinking of
the Laotians are making money off of it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Anyway,
whatever.
It's great. It's great
Chinese
because it's
or Japanese.
I'm from Laos.
Laos. Yeah, so there's my whole thing on Ronda Rousey. We talked a lot about it because it did bother me, and then I do want to definitely, and here too, because you guys are gamers. You guys are in, you guys play League, and some listeners play Call of Duty online. We have a deep Halo roots because of the Rooster Teeth guys and Halo.
Yeah.
So
the amount of people that watch other people play games on YouTube is fucking ridiculous.
Oh,
if people are watching on their computers, it's going to translate to fucking televisions. Like, it's not even, television isn't even that big of a deal anymore. They don't have to have a fucking television.
But see, okay, here's the thing.
Twitch could have a fucking TV show online or a web series or something like that. It would be ridiculously successful.
My wife one day was kind of baffled about this because our niece, her niece watches a lot of Minecrafting on Twitch, a lot of streaming. And so she came to me, she's like, what is the big deal with this? And I'm like, why? She goes, well, what about this guy? I pull up a channel of guys playing DayZ, and there's 15,000 people watching him. The guy, and there's another girl that's playing Call of Duty. They don't even work anymore because they make enough money off of the donations off of their streams, right? So she asked me, why are people in droves watching people play video games? I said, hold up. Aren't you watching something called reality fucking TV? Isn't that the same fucking thing?
It's worse.
You're the Real Housewives of Orange County. Why are you going to watch a show about a bunch of bitches act like bitches and brag about being bitches?
I think that's worse because that's just either real life straight directly, or it's like hyper annoying, like what do you call it? Caricatures.
Guys, we're gonna have to accept the fact that if our stuff becomes more mainstream, we're gonna have to we're gonna be put in that category.
The market will speak for itself, and what
we can't criticize those people anymore.
Fly.
Our stuff got on TV.
But like, the chat.
But I don't like that stuff. It's not my wheelhouse. But you know what? If people like it, that's fine. That's their thing. Fine. Just like watching people play games, that's fine too. There's enough content out there, both online and on TV now, for everyone to enjoy.
I would love a reality series with the League professional players.
I think like a 30 for 30 doc, like a documentary about how like the professional ones, like how they prepare and like how they function, would show people like, it's kind of fucking legit. I think that'd be a really good thing for like ESPN to like produce.
I want it to be a joke version of like a soap opera where instead it's like two people like Steven and Kyle living in a house.
Faker and
it should be Faker and Trick and like
exactly.
So
and they have to share a room together, but they're on opposite teams.
Is G4 still around?
Nope.
But it's supposed to be making a comeback.
Okay, I was gonna say that's the thing. These reality gaming shows don't even have to be on fucking ESPN. They can be on Sci-Fi or Cartoon Network or something, or Nickelodeon. Like that's your fucking audience.
But you know what? There. You could put that content on Netflix and Hulu as series.
That too. Yeah.
What
was the high school?
Video Game High School. That's on Netflix.
Video Game High School.
Successful online series.
Yeah, very successful.
That's a new model that people are really enjoying. That's a new model people are really enjoying. Like, there's a new show called Love, a Judd Apatow show on Netflix.
They may be bringing back Young Justice. Oh my God, what?
And it enables people to binge their show so they don't have to wait every week.
Mm-hmm. And it's great too that they do that. Just put everything up at once.
Oh yeah, it's the evolving merging of TV and internet into one thing.
Yeah, and it's great.
And of course, networks like Comcast that own NBC and Universal, they fucking hate it because they want to have their dick in every single cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And this is Netflix basically saying, "Fuck you, we're going to do it our way, and you're going to like it."
Yeah.
We need more companies like that.
I'm just happy about how spread the last championship was. For
the LCS.
Yes, exactly. And how it's like now more often I'm seeing like these big official tournaments. It's not even the world tournament. It's just like North America tournaments, and they're still like widespread and stuff.
Like the North America tournaments is the only time an NA team will win.
Well, that's different altogether.
Anyway,
I mean, what I would like to see is like a TV series or a series or even documentaries series of like following amateur teams, like to going to cons and like they're winning small time money and what their dreams are, and then like going on the back burner a bit and then checking out what pro teams are doing, like TSM and Cloud and all those other guys. See, all that other fun stuff. Like it's crazy.
I think more things like that would get popular. That like while that might not be something I'd necessarily watch, it's definitely something I see being very interesting just to the community as a whole.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, have you guys heard of any of the latest like rumors about certain pro players and like CS:GO and like League and stuff like that?
No.
They like people are saying they're taking like Adderall and like beta blockers and all kinds of other drugs.
Is this our steroids controversy?
Are we talking about PEDs in esports now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. League has now reached that level? Like we have that type of
Look, Chaos, when you're talking about 50, 60 grand, you will fucking do whatever you have to do to win. That's just it. You're talking about lots of money. Yes, you're gonna have to ped up, man.
Have they actually announced? Have they said what the actual like drugs that they're on?
Adderall, B12, like excessive doses of B12.
Well, you should say, even if it's Adderall is something that's a normal thing for someone like me to take.
But athletes, professional sports athletes, it's a banned substance. Adderall is.
I think it was the biggest cause of like the steroid stuff in baseball because it's like you do 162 games. Everyone was on fucking methamphetamines. You take that shit, or like amphetamines. I mean, not methamphetamines. Yeah. You take that shit away from them, and then all of a sudden, pitchers are dominating because they're the ones with 5 days rest.
Yep. Yeah, Adderall was a big deal about 2 or 3 years ago in baseball. They were busting a lot of guys for Adderall.
Yeah.
So yes, Adderall is a big thing in performance enhancing now.
Yeah, because it really does like fuck with your brain chemistry.
Yeah. And when you're talking about playing almost every day in baseball, which is like, you're playing 162 games, which is like literally almost every day. You get 1 day off every 4 or 5 days. So.
Yeah, and it's like physical exertion.
So now it's you're talking about PEDs and esports. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's like most of Riot's money they make, plus all the other money that like this, it's a huge industry. Like people, which is kind of just that's why it upsets a lot of us gamers. It's like when it's not taken seriously is because there's millions of dollars riding on some of these games.
Wow. This is the case of money meets perception.
Yeah, but that's in our society because we're a capitalist nation.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with capitalism. It just has to what people what people think of
in
the
general.
Thing.
Yeah, in general, it's monetarily based.
I mean, you could go to England, and I'm guessing the majority probably thinks the exact same thing, and they're not capitalist.
Yeah, true.
Well, they kind of are, but not as we are.
Capitalist.
They're not as we are. They're more socio-capitalist than we are. We're more like capitalist socialist.
I get what you mean, but
you could or go to like Denmark or Norway or where they are socialist.
There's a large esports community in Europe.
Well, there's a large one in America too,
and everywhere. So
it's a global thing.
It is.
I don't think the money is as big here yet.
No.
Yet.
It's like it's getting there. We're about to turn the corner, I think.
I think the thing is now as we keep moving up, now more people have the chance to with the internet being as it is. There's more people being educated on like, hey, this is why this is actually a thing. Yeah. More people are seeing that, hey, people are not only making money, but are getting like massive prizes, establishing full teams, not just, hey, this is 5 people on a really good team. It's an actual team that has members and switching out full-on coaches. Just everything about it.
Hey, there's a former NBA player, Rick Fox. Oh, he actually he owns his own esports team. Like he has an agency for esports now. Like that's his full-time job now. He recruits. They have on-staff psychologists and doctors and nutritionists. Like he is like 100% in esports now because he believes it's the future of sports. He believes at some point football is probably going to die because of all the injuries, like just the brain injuries and the long-term stuff. He believes that the lawsuits will hamstring football, and so the other sports they're great, but they're not as entertaining in terms of value, like live value as the NFL. So he believes people will get into esports more.
Yeah, more that, and the fact that it's still a situation where you can, kick the ball in the back, play casually, or you can, try to go professionally. And even if you have a potato computer, you can still enjoy the game, practice at it, have fun.
Yeah, because it's more relatable than professional sports.
Yeah, there's like literally no cost to entry.
Yeah,
no cost to entry, and there's only 2,000 people in the entire country that can play professional football.
Yeah.
In a given year, there's roughly about 2,000 to 3,000 people. So that makes it seem like, okay, the chances of that being realistic are slim. But me being a pro gamer, that sounds more realistic. Let me get into that.
Yeah.
And it's also the fact that like you can play it and like look at the professionals and see what they're doing and be like, oh, if you take Tanka top, this is actually really good, and then it just dominates the rest of the season.
Yeah,
the meta. Exactly, that was the thing I was looking for.
No worries, man. I get you.
Thanks, man.
It's got your back, dog.
Yeah, dude. I love spending time. I loved spending time with you over in Colorado. We should do that sometime again.
I just wish there weren't like so many new people for me. I was like, oh, this is such and such, and I'm like, who?
Seriously though, episode 200 meetup 24-hour live stream.
Dude,
meetup
maybe.
I don't know.
Strong maybe somewhere in the middle.
I would host.
Iowa's right in the middle.
I would host, and you can get.
Hey, we're coming over
from the west, from the east. You can get direct flights from Chicago for like $70 to literally half an hour from where I live.
Yeah.
So I would host and have a big house.
Nice. Okay.
Let's
awesome. You just promised it. It's happening.
Episode 200.
Hey, I've already asked him. Like, I was just dicking around with my dad, and he was like, "Yeah, you guys could totally do that." Yes, I'm down.
Awesome. That's awesome.
We can establish actual TFtopia on your phone.
Yes, you can.
And then kick him out, and then it'll be ours.
I don't think that's how it works.
I think my dogs would appreciate that.
I'll just bring my dogs.
Your dogs are no joke, though. His dogs like
they are not. Wow. Yeah. They don't do anything with people. They just bark really, really loud. They will get right in your face, but they won't do anything.
Yeah. My dogs have killed snakes, rattlesnakes.
So we're probably getting near the end, but I do want to share one more thing with you guys.
Go for it.
All right. I'm sending you guys a link in Skype.
Okay.
Open that.
Okay.
And what your initial reactions.
What?
Am I looking at?
That's what I think of it.
What is it?
It's feline slime.
Hey, have they dropped the trailer yet, or is that March 5th that's coming out?
That's coming out in March. But is that not the most disgusting thing you've ever seen?
Wait, what is it?
It's literally
Twinkies with green jelly in them. They're Ghostbusters themed, like Slimer.
That's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Is it? Yeah, isn't that just normal? Just different coloring. That's not that bad.
It just looks bad. It looks like moldy. It looks like moldy filling.
And it's got
they're bringing back the Ecto Cooler.
See, now that was nasty. I'm not gonna lie to you.
They're bringing that back.
Ecto Cooler was nasty when I was a kid.
What the fuck is Ecto Cooler?
It was a
high C
prototype thing.
It was a green fruit punch.
It was a green juice.
And they called it Ecto Cooler.
Yeah, it's like one of those it was there for a little bit of time and then it disappeared and everybody missed it. Everybody wanted it. Now it's coming back, like the McRib.
No one wants the McRib. Let's be real here.
No.
If they did,
no one
McDonald's
admits they want the McRib.
Yeah, everybody.
If it didn't make them money, they wouldn't bring it back.
I've never actually had a McRib.
And neither have I.
I've had fake McRibs.
Yeah, I've had fake McRibs as well.
What do you mean
it's
by
not
fake?
far off from the McRib.
Well, yeah, like the stuff like the rib patties at school. It's pretty much the same fucking thing.
It's the same thing.
It's just not covered in sauce.
I call it particle pork. It's like particle board.
Pretty much.
Agreed.
Particle porn?
Pork.
Ooh, okay, that sounds.
It's like particle board where they take pieces of board and they compress it together. Same thing with the McRib. They shape it to have like fictitious bones in it too. That's the gross part,
They want to add bones to it.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
They give you the allure of bones, of 3 ribs.
Can't we just do like a shredded rib? Like just take the meat from the ribs and then put it on like shredded meat. Like why is that? And you just put it in a bag and then you freeze it and then you unfreeze it and you put it on a fucking sandwich, dude.
This sounds like an actually good meal
way more
expensive
right now.
This is more successful than the burger that McDonald's had during my childhood, and that was the McHawaiian.
Oh dear God,
That's
what?
Interesting.
Although I like their habanero mango.
That was crazy in the 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
Burger King burger was amazing.
Nice joke, TJ.
Everyone missed it.
Yeah, he was calling me old. That's those.
Oh.
Typical.
He just took
Episode
it for granted.
150. We had to throw in one Fusion in his old joke.
Yes, obligatory joke in the bag.
Dude, also Fusion, I want to apologize for RTX. There's this moment. I'm sure I've referenced it once.
What's up?
We took a group picture at RTX, and I did not realize my hand was on your head. I thought it was on your shoulder.
Wait.
I thought this was going a different direction.
This was out.
He talks about this in one of the more recent podcasts. It was like 147 or something. Zach's like mentions that he wanted to say this. I confessed
my guilt to my friends, but now I want to apologize to Fusion directly because I felt like a total tool because I didn't realize while we were grouping up to get ready for the post panel group photo that my hand was on your head.
Okay.
And I want to apologize.
I don't see that.
Well, I mean, it's not like you were trying to say, "Oh, you're short," because I'm only like 2 inches shorter than you, so it's not like that.
Yeah. No, I know. The implications of that social thing just made me feel awkward.
I have a proposition, Zach.
I am not a socially awkward person, so it's okay.
To make you feel better, every photo that I take at RTX, I'm going to have my hand on people's heads.
Well, it's not.
He's using this as a roundabout excuse to touch your hair, by the way.
I feel like that's true.
But see, now here's the thing, though. You touched my head. I had a hat on. Had I touched Zach's well-coiffed mane, it would have been a problem. Right?
That's not true at all.
Zach, how much time do you spend on your hair each morning?
None at all. You people.
So you're born with that mamajestic beauty.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes. That mane is just like that naturally.
It's
naturally beautiful.
I know, like
maybe he is born with it.
Aaron from Game Grumps' hair is like that. It just falls no matter what he does to it.
We are on point tonight. Fucking love
it. You guys have some solid jokes apparently.
Yeah, we're on fire.
Yeah, we've been on fire. We got a great crowd tonight.
See, this is why I don't come on all the time anymore because I have to save up the fuel, save it up, and then unleash the fury.
Exactly.
I would be on all the time.
I love it.
Born with it.
I would be on all the time, but I have a very unfortunate work schedule right now.
No, I have a very.
Before we end, I need to ask Fusion something.
What's up?
March Madness Selection Sunday. I do a Mr. Warbrick show every Sunday. This is me pimping my own stuff. I want to do a quick bracket rundown with you via Skype for the Mr. Warbrick show.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm all with that.
I'll have to remember that I said this.
Villanova to win, correct?
Let me ask you.
You
what time
saw it here first, folks.
What time do you record that on Sunday?
That one will be after Selection Sunday.
Okay.
After the show, just so we know what the bracket is.
Okay, immediately after the show?
Well, we'll talk logistics later.
We'll talk anybody listening to this podcast after this weekend, so, they did that. That was the thing they did.
Yeah, they did that.
Well, this should be out.
Go back and watch that episode on YouTube.
Well, stay on top of stuff.
Yeah, no, we are on top of stuff. Even this one's going to be on top of as of this weekend at the very latest.
Oh, yeah.
Epic.
So we're just waiting for the next one.
Yeah.
I want to do a shout out to Chaos because he's been busting his ass for us this week.
Yeah, he
pumping out every podcast to catch us up. So we're going to
finally that overtime.
He's been doing amazing. So special shout out to him.
But yes, TJ, I will be at RTX this year.
Yes, good man.
For the entire event. I'm coming in on Friday.
Dude, I don't know. How are we going to run this podcast? There are going to be so many people here. Oh, my God.
We'll probably do some rotations. It can be like a three-parter.
Well, and it's going to be interesting because
successful rotations during a video podcast.
It'll be very interesting because there's not going to be any side quest events going on this year. More than likely.
Well, you kind of had to figure with
Grady stepping down and their transition. I didn't really think about that early on, but it occurred to me. Someone had mentioned it. I don't remember who it was.
Oh, we can probably have Lo Zelda on this time since she won't be doing all the side quest stuff.
Remember, she's also going to be a part of Pony too. So
there's going to be plenty of stuff for her.
Okay, she's going to be on 80,000.
If anyone's going to be there,
panels.
hey, when are you guys? Chaos, when are you guys leaving? Are you leaving on the 5th or the 4th?
We haven't actually planned directly when we're leaving since we're driving. We don't really need to do it to. We're basically not sure yet, but we're gonna leave around that time probably.
Hey, Chaos, wanna swing by Denver, Colorado? I'll pay you like $50.
Yeah, go in the complete opposite direction on your way.
No joke though. If you could get to Wichita, I might be able to pick you up. Because that's literally straight east of you.
Hey, Chaos, if you don't mind, can you tell us?
Wichita, Kansas. It's on I-35. I go through it every time I'm going down to Austin.
I'll buy you a burrito.
Like, I wouldn't mind taking a plane. It's just that, like,
you could probably get a really cheap flight from Denver to Wichita.
I like the bus nightmares from last time. That was great.
Dude, I slept for 12 hours last night. One of those nightmares was of that trip. I woke up and I was like, why am I thinking of that?
It scarred you that much.
Yeah, that was Greyhound sucks. Don't use it.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast 121 yesterday, and you were telling that story, and then Nightsaw came in and told his story, and then your comment was like, "Oh wow, you got delayed for 5 hours? How tragic!"
Yeah, I remember that.
I got delayed for a day.
Yeah,
it was pretty bad.
Wait, so there's not a train that goes from Denver to Wichita?
There is?
There probably is. The problem with them is that they go so slow, which is why the nation needs a high-speed train. It would be amazing.
But, he could have a cool train story, like he's reading a book and some mysterious woman comes up with a briefcase.
And he's got a pipe.
Saying she needs help, someone's chasing after her. And
then Fusion then Webwave has to defuse a bomb, and then he keeps resetting the last, 8 hours going.
Yeah.
Because
and then he does, karate kicks in a ponytail. He's like, I'm Webwave.
I was gonna say I sit next to a gambler and he tells me life advice of when to know when to hold him, know when to fold him.
And it is Kenny Rogers.
And it is.
Oh, that would be the best
talking about
ever.
A train, not a stagecoach ride. It's completely different.
True.
Was that song about a stagecoach?
Well, you said you were quoting the Gamblers, and so it's
a
stagecoach ride.
Oh, I thought it was.
It's a modern day stagecoach.
It's a modern day stagecoach.
Modern day stagecoach.
Modern as in the last 150 years since we had railroads.
We're talking about trains that aren't relying on coal,
Surprisingly, coal trains lasted for a long time.
Well, it's because the industry refused to innovate because it was so fucking cheap.
They're cheap, that's why.
Anyway. Yeah.
Time to wrap up.
Do you guys want to wrap up?
Gamma Karuchi.
Anyway, thank you everybody for watching the TFT podcast tonight. This has been fun. You can like us on Facebook. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at the forum thread and at TFT Plays. You can follow our YouTube channels, TFT Productions and TFT Plays. You can
also like us just by actually liking us.
Yeah, you can be part of us in life.
Hit follow if you like this podcast.
Yeah, Twitch. Go to Twitch and hit that little heart button. We love you when you do that. It's literally amazing for us when you do that.
And
orgasmic.
Soon, prepare your butts for every podcast in a row.
Every podcast ever. 150 of them. Binge them. Collect them all.
I definitely keep an eye out for 149 for the amazing drunk story.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome.
And don't forget to go to our website, www.theforumthread.com. Join our forums and hang out with us.
And add your thread to the tapestry.
Add your thread to the tapestry. You will become part of the legend that is the forum thread. 3 years in the making. This is episode 150.
Yep.
Holy shit, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But, we're not going to remanesce because we'll do that at 200.
And watch our new videos on TFT Plays.
What's out now?
Sakura Spirit Part 5.
Sakura Spirit Part 5. And we'll have Soma Part 10 and some other stuff too.
Exciting that TFT Smash is coming very soon. Very soon.
I just submit the Temmie face to Teachin. In curiousness about that, but we'll see.
Curiousness is that.
Because I want I want to see how this goes.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
We love you. Thanks for hanging out.
Boys.